Nestled inside the Walt Disney World complex, combining shopping, attractions, and a world of culinary delights to satisfy every craving, Disney Springs has become one of Disney's most popular destinations. Just ask these people queuing to buy a cookie. So many options to choose from can be overwhelming, and newcomers may need a helping hand to ensure the best possible trip. Hi, I'm a Frugal Brit, and in this video I'll provide a beginner's guide to visiting Disney Springs with an overview of each of its 4 neighbourhoods, covering the shopping and attraction highlights. Then in part 2, I'll be doing a top 20 ranking of my favourite places to eat, including both quick service and table service. Before we get into it, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell for future Orlando vacation content. One of the best things about Disney Springs is how easy it is to travel to by car nowadays. There's several parking structures to choose from, so there's never any issues finding a space. The most centrally located one is the Lime Garage, or Garage as we prefer to say in the UK. This is the one I tend to use the most. You'll be pleased to know that all parking is completely free. Once you've gone through security, you'll head down escalators to get to Disney Springs, which is split into 4 neighbourhoods, which are the Marketplace, the Landing, the Town Centre and the West Side, which I'll take you on a tour through. Starting with the Marketplace to the east, which appeals more to tourists and young families, featuring an array of stores for Disney fans and those looking to pick up some unique souvenirs and toys. Most of the main Marketplace shops and eateries face the waterfront, divided by the Village Causeway Bridge, which serves as a connecting pathway between the main thoroughfares. Welcoming visitors travelling from the town centre is the Lego Dragon display emerging from the water, facing the popular Lego store, featuring life-size Lego models of famous characters from Disney and Star Wars movies. Inside, you'll find an interactive environment for Lego enthusiasts, including a pick-a-brick wall. The main draw for the Marketplace to the south is the obscenely large World of Disney store, with its vast selection of Disney-themed clothing, toys, collectibles, home goods and more. Despite its size advantage, I would say that the nearby Marketplace Co-op offers more interesting merchandise options. You'll also find some interesting specialty shops, such as Disney's Days of Christmas, Goofy's Candy Company, and the Art of Disney store with its art and collectibles inspired by classic Disney movies. When it comes to experiences, the Marketplace is aimed at kids primarily. You have the Marketplace Train Express, where little ones can take a short loop around a choo-choo track for $3, as well as the Marketplace Carousel for a ride atop one of 16 handcrafted horses for the same price. Another attraction within the Marketplace is the open-air Advent Health Waterside stage near the World of Disney store, which features energetic musical acts and dance shows. For those looking to indulge a sweet tooth, you have 2 highly regarded dessert locations, which are the Girandelli Soda Fountain next to the Waterside stage, which serves sundaes, shakes, floats and ice cream cones. You've also got the Swirls on the Water, which specialises in soft serve treats, including Dole Whips. One of the main draws for the Marketplace is the Rainforest Cafe, located on the north side of the bridge, which is how most guests travel over to the restaurant. Situated inside a larger-than-life, intricately designed volcano on the waterfront, which comes to life at regular intervals throughout the day with loud eruptions above a cascading waterfall. Now, this Landry's-owned restaurant doesn't have the best reputation with foodies and doesn't make my top 20 ranking, but I think it'll be of interest to many. With 2 young kids, it's one of the restaurants I visit the most within Disney World, I'm embarrassed to admit. One thing that is undeniable though is how impressive the theming and animatronics are, which the kids will love. In a similar vein, you've also got the marginally better T-Rex restaurant, which we'll be covering later in the video. The bustling town centre neighbourhood is up next, towards the bottom of the map, which debuted in 2016, featuring Spanish Revival architecture from the 1920s and boasts a large collection of boutique stores and flagship brands such as Levi's and Uniqlo, some of which are located inside the market building and its large brick gabled ends. For those interested in any decently priced Disney clothing, I recommend taking a look inside the Uniqlo store. You'll also find a number of luxury brands here as well, too many to mention, and not really my area of expertise to be completely honest, so I will provide a shopping guide in the video description. As well as catering to shopaholics, the town centre is the best area of Disney Springs for quick service dining. I'll be covering those in the next part of the video, but I did want to mention the Amoret Patisserie French style bakery, which offers artfully made and highly Instagrammable pastries, signature cakes and other treats. Super high quality stuff, but a bit pricey. For a more reasonably priced dessert location in the town centre, I'd recommend Sprinkles, opposite from Frontera Cucina on the East Bridge, famous for its gourmet cupcakes, which come in a variety of flavours, as well as cookies and ice cream. One of its unique features is its cupcake ATM, which is sort of like a cupcake vending machine available 24/7. Over to the far west side of the town centre, you have the Coca-Cola rooftop beverage bar featuring an eye-catching glass exterior. Inside, it offers a wide range of Coca-Cola merchandise, but it's most famous for its rooftop bar on the 3rd floor, which allows visitors to enjoy various Coca-Cola products whilst taking in scenic views of the observatory and other highlights. This observatory building houses the ginormous Planet Hollywood restaurant, which has a reputation as being one of the weaker, if not weakest, restaurants in Disney Springs, so doesn't make my top 20 ranking. I appreciate most will likely be familiar with the brand, but just in case, it's a movie-themed dining experience with an array of movie memorabilia and props, including costumes, autographed items, and set pieces from iconic films. There's a 4,500 square foot video wall showcasing music videos, movie clips, and other visual content with guest interaction. Despite its deserved reputation, I do love the atmosphere. Over to the west, we have the West Side neighbourhood for Disney Springs, which is basically everything to the west of Planet Hollywood. This is the neighbourhood you'll first see when arriving from one of the Sassagoula River connected resorts. The West Side features a lot of Disney Springs third-party entertainment. This includes the AMC Dine-In Theatre located opposite Planet Hollywood, which is a movie, theatre and casual dining restaurant where the food is delivered straight to your seat. Next to AMC Dine-In Theatre, you've got Splitsville Luxury Lanes for those interested in bowling whilst at Disney World. You would be forgiven for not. The highlight in terms of attractions for Disney Springs is the Cirque du Soleil Drawn to Life show, created by Cirque du Soleil in partnership with Disney, where Walt's art is brought to life featuring live acrobatics and an original score that draws inspiration from legendary Disney music. I am unfortunately still yet to experience this, but if it's anything like the previous Cirque du Soleil show here, absolutely incredible. Over on the far west side, adjacent to the Cirque du Soleil Theatre, is the House of Blues Music Hall concert venue, pretty hard to miss with its famous 100-foot water tower. The House of Blues is split into 2 parts, so one part is the music hall, which hosts live concerts and special events. Then you also have the House of Blues chain restaurant, which is a mix of mainly soul food and Louisiana favourites. Not the best reputation, but will appeal to those who enjoy spicy food, live music and strong cocktails. Another attraction in the West Side is the Aerophile Balloon Flight Experience, which for a price of $25 or $15 if you arrive before 10, you can rise to a height of 400 feet whilst treated to stunning panoramic views of Disney Springs and its surroundings, one of Disney Springs' most beloved and iconic symbols, and can be seen all around the area. Amongst all these attractions in the West are some popular stores such as Disney Style, Pele Socket and the Candy Cauldron. At the Marvel superhero headquarters, you can pick up some Marvel merchandise, toys and clothing, and you can do the same but for Star Wars at the Star Wars Galactic Outpost. Before we move on from the West Side, it would be incredibly rude not to mention the 2 excellent dessert locations over here. These are Salt and Straw, a Portland-based gourmet ice cream chain with some creative flavours located near the Western AMC Theatre entrance, as well as Everglazed donuts and cold brew with some equally creative made-from-scratch donut varieties, specialty drinks, and a better than you'd expect donut burger. The final neighbourhood within Disney Springs is the Landing, the main waterfront section of Disney Springs, accessed via bridges from the other neighbourhoods. Known for its picturesque waterfront views, containing by far the best restaurants and nightlife at Disney Springs, which is why it gets the most foot traffic. Formerly known as Pleasure Island, easily my favourite neighbourhood and the one I spend the most time in. The most popular location within the Landing these days is Gideon's Bakehouse, located right in the centre. Quite easy to spot with its ginormous line to enter. Bear in mind, this is the queue you have to do after the virtual queue. It's best to get there first thing in the morning to avoid having to wait hours in a virtual queue. But if you do have the patience to endure the queues, you'll enter a room which feels like it's been plucked from Diagon Alley, dimly lit by wrought iron chandeliers where old books and creepy portraits line the walls. Most famous for its cookies, the classic chocolate chip, pistachio toffee and the peanut butter varieties. They also serve popular cake slices and cold brew. Even if it's mostly virtual, queuing hours for a cookie will always feel a bit ridiculous, but I can't say I've ever regretted any of my visits. There are of course lots of locations in the Landing, which we'll be covering in the next part of the video. Now it's time to rustle some jimmies in my attempt to rank the top 20 best restaurants. These are just my choices, with casual quick service options mixed in. It's unavoidably arbitrary, but I will be covering the pros and cons of each with review scores displayed, so you can obviously decide for yourselves. With that tedium out of the way, we'll start the ranking with the T-Rex restaurant on the west side of the marketplace, with its eye-catching exterior that resembles a massive dinosaur fossil excavation site. Inside, guests are greeted by a giant T-Rex animatronic, one of many animatronics contained within the restaurant's gloriously themed dining areas, as well as regular meteor showers. Its dinosaur-sized menu serves mostly American fare, burgers, barbecue pastas, etc. I'd say the burgers are least likely to disappoint. Obviously, many similarities with Rainforest Cafe, both owned by Landry's, pretty much all of the same faults in terms of price, quality of food and service. Most will say that the T-Rex is slightly better choice out of the two, but based on my own experiences earlier this year, I don't think there's much in it, to be honest. Many parents will find themselves having to pick the Rainforest Cafe due to how hard it is to get a reservation at T-Rex. So if your kids are desperate for the dino theming, book the table as soon as it comes available. At number 19, I've gone for Maria and Enzo's Ristorante, which sits on the waterfront to the west of the landing. This table service restaurant markets itself as a traditional Italian Sicilian style restaurant, with guests transported to the golden age of travel inside its spacious interior themed to an airline terminal from the 1930s, with a 50-foot high ceiling, a grand staircase, floor to ceiling views of the lake. Its highlights include its calamari, eggplant parm, handcrafted pastas, its fresh fish and steaks. By no means a bad restaurant, but I'm not persuaded that the food quite matches the grandiosity of its interior. Also not really my kind of ambience. Very wide open and loud, so not the best date night pick. Connected to Maria and Enzo's is the Pizza Ponte quick service restaurant, which serves mainly Sicilian style pizza slices. Expect long lines here in the evenings, but it does move quickly. Decent pizzas, but I personally prefer the made-to-order approach from Blaze Pizza, which we'll cover further down the list. My pick for 18 is the CityWorks Eatery and Poorhouse chain table service restaurant, located right next to the Cirque du Soleil Theatre in the West Side. A sports bar restaurant with giant TVs for every angle, and a beer lover's paradise with 90 craft choices on tap, 30 of which are brewed locally. There aren't many surprises with its fairly typical pub grub menu. Its popular dishes include its smokehouse combos, Nashville hot chicken wrap, and its scorpion burger. Obviously, great choice for those looking to watch some sport, or beer aficionados, but otherwise nothing to write home about. For number 17, I have Wolfgang Puck's Bar and Grill table service restaurant, located directly across from Planet Hollywood on the west entrance to the Market Building, featuring a sleek and simple farmhouse style interior, which includes a giant bar and a wood-fried pizza oven. It offers all the classic dishes from trailblazing restaurateur Wolfgang Puck, highlights including the slow-smoked pork ribs, Wiener Schnitzel, incredible pizzas, equally impressive carrot cake. Great food and service, but does often get overshadowed by restaurants with more marketable menus and theming, which helps you in getting a reservation, I suppose. One downside for me though is the ambience is not the best. At 16, I've gone for Frontera Cucina restaurant, which sits on the waterfront next to the Eastern Bridge. An improved interior compared to when it first opened, now containing a giant sun mosaic above the bar. Highlights include its chipotle chicken flautas, guacamole Cobb salad, or the chicken enchiladas. Excellent Mexican food from the award-winning celebrity chef Rick Bayless, but it is expensive with the portion sizes, which puts a lot of people off, but for Mexican food lovers, can definitely recommend. Next, at number 15, we have Chicken Guy quick service restaurant over on the west end of the town centre within the Planet Hollywood complex. Proudly boasting the branding of its celebrity chef co-founder Guy Fieri, known for his vibrant personality and love of bold flavours. Chicken Guy specialises in all-natural chicken tenders, sandwiches and salads. The main gimmick of Chicken Guy is that these can be paired with a selection of 22 varieties of house-made sauces. Chicken Guy has retained its popularity with its juicy and perfectly crisp tenders, as well as its great value. Not a lot to enjoy here unless you like tenders though. It may seem silly to pick this over the likes of some of the previous table service choices, but in terms of serving a purpose in Disney Springs for me, I feel it deserves to be here. My 14th best pick goes to the Edison Bar restaurant, located in the landing in between Maria and Enzo's and Paradiso 37. An industrial Gothic-themed hotspot designed to resemble an abandoned 1920s power plant inside a massive two-storey interior, centred by a steam engine that sits on top of the staircase. The most lavishly themed bar restaurant at Disney Springs. It features family-friendly live entertainment in the daytime, which can get a bit racy in the evenings. Despite all its extravagance, other than its clothesline candied bacon, the Edison doesn't have the most inspiring food menu. It definitely prioritises drinks over the food. But if drinks, theming and entertainment are the priority, the Edison is really hard to beat. For number 13, we have the Deluxe Burger quick service, located at the centre of the town centre, one of only a few Disney-owned and operated restaurants in Disney Springs. Nice selection of burgers, including beef, chicken and veggie patties. Options range from a classic cheeseburger to more adventurous choices like the El Diablo and the Southern Classic. There's also a nice range of shakes. Fans of Deluxe Burger come for the juicy and flavourful patties, variety of sauces, customisable options, quick service, the views from its patio. Those less fond of Deluxe Burger often point to its underwhelming sides. Just around the corner for number 12 is the Blaze fast-fired pizza chain quick service restaurant in between Deluxe Burger and Planet Hollywood. For those not familiar with this popular pizza chain, as the name suggests, it specialises in fast-fired artisanal pizzas and freshly made salads, where guests get to customise their pizzas, which are then cooked in a blazing hot open flame oven and ready to enjoy in 3 minutes. Once ready, there's a scenic patio where you can eat your pizza overlooking the water. The main downside to Blaze is that it can get very busy in the evening, especially at weekends, but the queue does move very quickly. At number 11, I've picked the uber trendy STK Orlando chain restaurant located across from Maria and Enzo's and the Edison restaurant in the Landing. A turn-of-the-century train station exterior with a contrasting ultra-modern and sleek interior. Kinda feels more like a Las Vegas nightclub than a restaurant, with a live DJ to entertain guests, but not too loud for pleasant conversation. There's a more laid-back rooftop terrace which I forgot to ask for. Highlights include the Wagyu beef sliders, the smoked pork belly Benedict, Parmesan truffle fries, and obviously its various steaks. The food is excellent, but it's the most expensive restaurant in Disney Springs with relatively small portions, a combo that rarely creates a lot of excitement in Disney World. To finish the first half of the ranking at number 10 is Jaleo, located on the west side opposite Splitsville on the main thoroughfare. A Spanish tapas restaurant with large and impressively styled red interior, with smoked serrano, Iberica hams hanging from the ceiling, and an open kitchen containing a paella pit. Led by two-time Michelin star winner Jose Andres, Jaleo specialises in authentic tapas, paella, sangria, and a wide selection of Spanish cheeses. Its highlights are the patatas bravas, croquetas de pollo, carne asada con piquillo, and the garlic shrimp. An underrated restaurant to me. I rarely see many recommendations, I think partly because the portion sizes are quite small for the prices, even by tapas standards, but if you enjoy tapas dining, you won't be disappointed. Next at 9 is the impressively themed Jock Lindsay's Hangar Bar with its prime spot on the Landing's waterfront next to Paradiso 37 and the Boathouse. Named after the pilot from Raiders of the Lost Ark and themed as a vintage airplane hangar, air tower and runway turned dive bar with weathered facade. Inside you'll find a mixture of airplane parts, salvaged equipment and dusty mementos from Jock's exploits. As the name suggests, this is a bar-first dining location, so you'll be limited to appetizers here. Its highlights are the Reggie's Revenge cocktail, the snake bite sliders and its charcuterie pretzel, all of which you can enjoy inside or outside on Jock's boat, which looks almost identical to a Jungle Cruise boat. Jock Lindsay's Hangar Bar stands out with its great atmosphere, imaginative theming and attention to detail, but its service is notoriously inconsistent. For number 8, we have the Paddlefish table service restaurant located near the Village Causeway Bridge, one of the most recognisable restaurants in Disney Springs. A steamboat-themed restaurant anchored in Lake Buena Vista on 3 floors, boasting 360-degree waterfront views, clearly visible from the water when approaching Disney Springs via the water taxi. With its decor, the idea is to make you feel like you're eating inside a modern yacht. There's rooftop seating with some of the best views of Disney Springs and live entertainment on weekends. Paddlefish unsurprisingly specialises in seafood and steaks from executive chef Steve Richard. Its highlights include crab-topped fries, clam chowder, whole Maine lobster and crab cake. The food is great, I've had fantastic service on both visits, but at risk of sounding a bit repetitive, it does get overshadowed by cheaper options in the Landing. My number 7 pick goes to Enzo's Hideaway Tunnel Bar, a short walk from its sister restaurant Maria and Enzo's and STK Orlando. Hidden away from the main thoroughfare in the Landing, inspired by Florida's secretive rum-running past during Prohibition, diners enter through a weathered tunnel filled with graffiti used by rum runners before Enzo decided to turn them into a restaurant. The menu serves fairly conventional but expensive Italian cuisine with a pasta focus. Highlights include the spaghetti meatballs, as well as the pasta della nonna with its rigatoni pasta, short rib meatball and sausage. Also a huge selection of cocktails, whiskies, rums and wines to choose from. I really enjoy the intimate speakeasy vibe, but I should point out that most wouldn't rank it this high, quite pricey for pasta dishes. I'd recommend it more for drinks and appetizers. At number 6, I've gone for the Polite Pig quick service restaurant located in the town centre, just on your right when you arrive from the Lime Garage. Inside, you'll find a familiar hipstery industrial aesthetic, which is where its chefs prepare wood-fired barbecue cuisine such as brisket, ribs and pulled pork sandwich, and a fantastic selection of sides, led by local husband and wife duo James and Julie Petrakis. At the bar, you'll find an impressive range of craft beers, wines, and a huge bourbon collection, both indoor and outdoor seating, great atmosphere in the evening. I've always found it to be excellent barbecue food, but this is from a Brit's perspective. I understand that expectations can vary. I enjoy this place more after every visit, but a couple of downsides. The portions could be a bit bigger. especially given that it's the most expensive quick service meal in Disney Springs. Also, similar to Blaze and Deluxe Burger, long lines and limited seating to be expected in the evening. My fifth best restaurant goes to Morimoto Asia, located right in the middle of the landing across from Raglan Road. Another lavishly decorated fine dining choice with a 2-story interior that boasts glittering 20-foot long chandeliers, Shanghai-inspired lounges, a second-level sushi bar and an exhibition kitchen. A creation of famous Iron Chef winner Masaharu Morimoto with his take on Pan-Asian cuisine. Highlights from its ambitious menu include the outstanding Morimoto spare ribs, also the Morimoto Peking duck and sushi rolls. Food quality is top notch. I've always had good service too. Only reasons not to visit will either be the type of cuisine or high prices. One way to somewhat escape the high prices would be to head to the more reasonably priced Morimoto Asia street food next door, which I would rank as the second best quick service option in Disney Springs. For number 4, I went for Wine Bar George, located in between Jock Lindsay's Hangar Bar and Raglan Road in the Landing. A bar restaurant which uses the repurposed warehouse interior blueprint with exposed air vents and brick walls. The bar takes centre stage on the ground floor with its elevated wine rack that offers 140 wines with a focus on affordability. There's also a small menu of delicious appetisers. Its highlights being the crispy mac and cheese bites, house-made meatballs and the family-style skirt steak. The ground floor is pretty loud, but there's a quieter second floor with another bar. You can also ask for a table outside overlooking the main thoroughfare and live music on the mini amphitheatre. I personally think this is the best bar-first dining choice at Disney Springs, loved by everyone. It manages to combine elegance with approachability with its exceptional wine offerings and tasty appetisers. Only reason not to recommend Wine Bar George would be if you're not interested in drinking. Wine Bar George also has a quick service counter on its waterfront side, which offers some convenient to-go options like loaded French fries, charcuterie and frozen drinks. Next, for number 3, is the Raglan Road Irish Pub and Restaurant, located on the southern side of the landing opposite Sprinkles on the River, famous for its lively atmosphere and hearty Irish cuisine, a ginormous Irish bar restaurant with most of its interior shipped directly from Ireland, featuring energetic acoustic performances of Irish classics on multiple stages, which creates an infectious pub atmosphere fueled by a ginormous drink selection in 4 different bars. There's also live music from its outdoor patio, which allows passers-by to soak up the atmosphere. Naturally, Raglan Road specialises in traditional Irish cuisine. Its highlights include its beer-battered fish and chips, shepherd's pie, its braised beef, and its famous Gers bread and butter pudding, often touted as the best dessert at Disney World. So a fantastic menu combined with the best atmosphere in Disney Springs, which puts it easily in the top 3. But I wouldn't recommend it if you're seeking a quiet, chilled out meal. It gets very loud. Also, very difficult to get a reservation here. Even when you have one, you've still got to queue. One way to enjoy the Irish fare whilst avoiding the reservation hassle would be to order from the Cooks of Dublin next door, where you can pick up fish and chips, sandwiches, meat pies and more. For my second best restaurant, I've gone for Chef Art Smith's Homecoming Kitchen Table Service Restaurant, located at the bottom of the Landing Island. Homecoming aims to transport guests into a bygone era of southern hospitality with decor that pays homage to the beauty of Florida's rural landscape and rich agricultural heritage, including memorabilia provided by Chef Art himself. The restaurant's name refers to Chef Art's roots as a Florida native and prides itself on its southern cooking with a menu of his favourite recipes. The highlights include Art's famous fried chicken, the thigh-high chicken biscuits appetizer, the Art burger, the signature moonshine cocktails. Reasons to love Homecoming: great atmosphere, Chef Art Smith being a local adds a bit of prestige to the restaurant and those in attendance. It serves some of the tastiest comfort food you'll find in big portions, great pick for fussy eaters. Reasons not to love Homecoming: very difficult to get reservations for. Also, if you don't like fried chicken, better options nearby. My number 1 pick goes to the Boathouse, which sits at the top of the landing, fitting for this outstanding nautical-themed signature restaurant. Diners enter the restaurant underneath a boat that's been raised onto the exterior in between 2 palm trees. Inside the Boathouse, there's 3 beautifully themed dining rooms with absolutely no expense spared, 3 separate bars, including the dockside bar attached onto the restaurant's boardwalk and patio, with a fleet of classic watercraft on display, outdoor seating that provides some of the best views. The boathouse is probably most famously known for its vintage amphicar tours, which you can drive on land and float on water. For $125, guests can enjoy a 20-minute guided tour on the waters of Lake Buena Vista. The boathouse specialises in fresh seafood of every sort. Some popular dishes include the jumbo lump crab cake, the fried Atlantic clam strips, and the Maine lobster roll. Being a Gibson's restaurant, it also offers great steaks. Also got to mention the baked Alaska shareable dessert. Those that love Boathouse generally point to its theming, its ambience and picturesque waterfront location. It can seat up to 600 guests, which makes it easy to get a reservation. Paddlefish is the obvious alternative option to the Boathouse, a quieter and more refined restaurant overall, which also has great waterfront views, but I do feel like Boathouse beats Paddlefish in pretty much all other areas. Well, that's it for this video. Thank you for making it to the end. Let me know in the description where you disagree with the ranking. If you're interested in future guide videos like this, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell to be notified when future videos are posted.